The Finance Committee meeting to order. I'm going to take the minutes first, so it's out of order on the
Move to approve.
agenda.
Second.
Motion second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on 2018 general fund operating budget.
I had sent everybody an update. I met individually with the department heads, and we also, those that were available Friday, we sat down and went through everything. As I mentioned in my memo, which was too wordy, but the first column is the areas that the adjustments were made by the department heads. The second column is numbers that they actually took out of existing budgets that you had asked them to do, go back and see what we had in the current budget that could potentially be taken out. And then the third column is reductions to what they had asked for this year. They went back and looked at that as well. I don't know if you have any specific questions, or if you want me to go through it all. How do you want me to proceed here? Or if you have questions, I know that you brought up the lifeguards, so maybe Mike can address that.
Yeah, you want to address that now, or?
Well, might as well. Let's start with that.
Yeah, so one area that I looked at saving the city money was to eliminate the lifeguard positions that are currently at Lakefront Park. You know, you look at a lot of the beaches within the county just alone. I know my family goes to Perch Lake, Glen Hills, that are under county jurisdiction, and there's no lifeguards at those facilities. Furthermore, we have a public swim area on the end of the Dike Road that is utilized a lot by, you know, visitors and community members that isn't lifeguarded. So, you know, with that being said, I looked at our current lifeguards at Lakefront Park. You can see the savings, what we spent on you know, staff down there for 2018 was $18,301. You know, and we did contact and reach out to the League of Wisconsin Municipalities, and they were okay with us eliminating those positions without any further liability on the city. You know, and talking to Deb and Kevin, who kind of manage and schedule our lifeguards, it is difficult to find lifeguards that want to work and that are qualified. They're often having to scramble to find them to fill in positions that are left open from kids not showing up or want to take time off, that kind of thing. So it is time consuming to manage the staff down there from our full-timers perspective. So, you know, it's just something that, you know, from me, like I said, venturing out to county facilities and noticing that they don't have any, that this would be a possibility to save some money going forward. So not written in stone. Even if we were to, you know, maybe have lifeguards on the weekends, or you know, even if this last summer, you know, people are swimming outside the posted lifeguard times. So even though we don't have lifeguards down there, there's still people utilizing that area. So it's not lifeguarded 100% of the time. You know, you can't regulate when the beach is open and closed like that. So something to think about. Like I said, even if we were to add those monies back into the budget, we would still have a reduction in the parks budget. It was just a way of looking at a cut that would be a permanent cut of, you know, roughly $18,000 a year. So
What are the posted hours there?
that I don't know. I'm sorry. I should
want
know
to say
that.
it's like 11 to 5 or 11 to 6. I don't think we have lifeguards in the evening.
Is that
Right.
every day of the week?
Usually starts Memorial Day, ends a little
Right.
before Labor Day.
Yep. When the kids go back to school, typically.
That was for 2017,
That was
2018.
in the 2018
18
budget, because you had asked everybody to go back and look at that, and he's proposing not to put it in the 2019 budget.
So that's what we expended for 2018?
That's what was budgeted for every year. It's about $18,000 in life, and then the FICA is on top of that.
Okay, so what did we spend in 2018 on lifeguards?
That I don't know, Randy, without.
And you don't-
Less than that, I mean, I don't have the exact number.
But it was budgeted for this 18.
Hold on one second, I can't tell you. Give me a second here.
Well, to play devil's advocate, once you find that number, you know, and Jim, you brought up a point, but it could be the fire department, it could be the police department, it could be any department. But to me, having a kid drown under there because we're pinching pennies doesn't set well with me as we're making the decision to do that. We're not cutting life-saving from the police department directly. And that would be my concern.
So, I agree with that, and that was my initial reaction is that, but then I thought about this as well. You brought up the point that we do have the other beach down there at the end of the dike that's got no lifeguard. And so, but you were saying that we might have, you're saying that there are staffing issues trying to get qualified people to come in and do that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Did we have times down there that were posted that we would have lifeguards when we didn't?
No, there was always someone there available. It was just a matter of tracking them down and convincing them to be there, you know. But it wasn't unstaffed at any point in time.
And that's every day during the week?
Yeah.
So Monday through Sunday?
Yep.
What happens if it's posted, if we don't have staff down there in hours when it's posted? What would happen?
That, you know, we would...
Do you close the beach?
Nope. And that's something that we're going to have to look at in the future. If it is unstaffed, we would have to get signage up there that would be posted that, you know, the beach is unstaffed, no lifeguard on duty, that type of thing. You know, we'd look at the exact verbiage. But that's something that we need to do into the future, whether we keep the lifeguard program or not.
To your point, I don't know how many years we've had at least maybe 1, 2, 3 drownings on the end of the dike, but yet we haven't had in many years any drowning where we have lifeguards.
Yeah.
I want to say it was about 14,000. And it varies because I know this summer and some summers we have to close the beach because if the river's high, and we had quite a bit of that this summer, so.
Yeah. And like I said, something for you to ponder. Even if you don't even eliminate the program and we keep the lifeguards, we're still, you know, reducing the parks budget. So by $5,000.
Even without that.
Even without that. So if you keep that 18,000 budgeted in there for 2019, we would still be under the current year's budget. So something to ponder.
Unless it's a huge red light we can't fill, I would like to see us continue lifeguards.
I would agree with the...
Okay.
Take that out, okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike. You're up.
No, I'm okay. I just was going to see. That's about a penny, so, on the mill rate. So I don't know if there's any other questions on either category for the department heads or for me or... Mike?
Does this have all the increases?
Everything is in there that was approved at the first meeting, like for personnel, but then the CSO is back out of there, the lieutenant is back, you know, that's back out of there. But everything else is in here, yes, that we discussed at the previous meetings.
Including a 2% increase for the staff?
Yep.
That's in there.
That is in there.
I don't think we could have asked for a better job finding some monies as something as thin as...
I mean, and they
Some of them are
struggled. I mean, that it wasn't, you know, the department heads looked and they...
But I appreciate it from all of you guys.
And I know some of it doesn't look like much, but a lot of the departments don't have that big. I mean, that $300 was literally that was all that was left in my budget. Like for the municipal court, you know, they don't have that big of a budget, but she took $700, and that's translation services if they need translators. So everybody stepped up and at least tried to find some things that they could.
So the CSO program is being delayed then? With this budget?
Jeff's proposal, yes.
See, and I think that's a good way to say it. It's being delayed. Maybe something changes.
Hello. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. I mean, just because I took the request off for this year doesn't mean that it's not going to be a continued need in the future. And, you know, so delayed is a good way to look at it.
So you've still got an additional officer in your budget for next year, so then at least
Correct.
you've got some help for the current employees.
That's correct. Yeah.
And this proposed, what's here also includes the Mike's, Maraz's additional person and the half-time administrative person, so all that is still in here.
You feel good about the cuts that you have?
Yes.
I mean, as good as you? Okay. Can you explain the eliminate part-time wages and FICA real quick to the current budget?
Well, because I wanted to try and do my due diligence in making cuts of unnecessary things, and that's part of the reason for the CSO proposal was to reallocate those funds. So basically what I did with that $20,000 is reallocated that, so I got my training money.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
And we don't have a lot of part-time officers
No,
available,
I think
and
I think we spent $97 of that budget last year. And, well, this current year.
Sure. Thanks.
Thanks, Chief.
Is this council elimination the coffee cups and coffee?
Isn't that stuff still in the back? Keep talking about that.
it's just that the budget hasn't been used, I know. And that undesignated short-term capital, that was something we've had for a number of years, and it was kind of set up for if something popped up, short-term but we haven't used it, 3-4 years, Brenda? So we thought, well, there's no need to just keep putting it in if we're not going to use it, so. We did keep the 10,000 in there for our annual upgrades to the PCs and the printers, and that still will be in there. We've done that program for about 4 years, and it's working pretty well. We were able to keep up with everybody's computer needs.
So Brenda, what path does this put us on moving forward in the next couple of years? Or are you not going to project out that far, but only a year out?
For the general fund operating,
Yeah.
we haven't taken the time to do that yet. Once we do the debt projections, we'll be talking about the capital projects tonight. Then if you want staff to start looking going forward, yes, we can look at that. But
And with the levy, undesignated levy amount, this essentially will add back $198,000 from where we were before. So we should be.
Puts us back to that 2 to 3 year.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, again, it's hard to be exact, but probably between 350 and 4, is that?
Yeah, we're using about the same amount as we used last year.
Let's be another 200,000.
Well, I'm a lot more comfortable with this budget as it's presented. Would be what, mill rate 5.35 then?
Yep, 5.36, yeah. So that's a 1.5% increase in the mill rate. The levy will be up 3%.
I do have a question for Chief St. Martin. On motor fuels, the 1430, how did you get to that?
We just kind of backed out where we're at and thought we could cut back on that. We're hoping that should be realistic.
Gotcha. All the cuts that you made in your budget.
Yeah, I know Brenda had mentioned one of them would be conferences and training, and we did take some out of there. Again, kind of like Chief Willem said, I don't know how long, we'll probably be coming back, but next year we'll try to make those adjustments. And so.
Gotcha. So you had a 2% increase, now you're at what?
0.
0. Thank you.
I knew you could do it.
We had talked about closing the fire station on Mondays, but I couldn't figure out.
Wow.
You back the gas out because you're sitting in your office all the time, huh? So if anything, I guess I would move this forward to the full council.
So publish this budget then. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, you can make those changes that evening, and I'll have the budget books ready, just if you have ideas or proposals or whatever, you'd let me know about them ahead of time, so then I can figure out costs and everything. Okay?
Need that in the motion?
That was.
Yeah, Randy made a
But I
motion.
mean, so we do need to approve that.
Well, because you
Is there
had,
a
last
second?
week had
Yeah.
sent a different one, so yes.
Is there a second?
Second?
Motion a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion's approved. And I wanted to personally thank all the department heads for responding to our request from last week, and especially as quickly as you guys were able to go back and look at your budgets. Obviously, that the numbers last week caught us all off guard, and there were some surprises there. And so I really appreciate all the work that you all did, and I just can't thank you enough for getting that to us and getting it done as quickly as you did. I appreciate the response. So.
Oh, one more question.
Yep.
Was anything changed with Catherine's rates in the budget?
I put it up to 100,000 because we're going to need that regardless. So, and Randy asked that before, so, because we've been at least at that for the last several years. Kathy is going to bring forward, I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, I can, I mean, I'm willing, like I said at the last meeting, I'm willing to work with the council on if you would prefer to phase it in, for example, 175 for 2019, 185 for 2020, if that would help. I just wanted to get the concept out to you since it had been so long, and it just really needs to be done, and wanted to do it within your budget, within your budget process rather than after. So,
But I'm sorry, but I did raise it, like I said, up to 100 because regardless of what the rate is, I think that's a more realistic number than the 80,000.
So does this need to be put on the agenda for us to discuss then?
Yeah, that's something
well, I can, if you want to discuss it, we can certainly discuss it within the operating budget, but in terms of details regarding an agreement and how you want to handle it, that should be on the agenda for finance.
May I interject, Catherine? You had left after some time because that meeting was long, but it was brought up, and in particular I brought it up about maybe going out for RFP to find out what's out there.
Well,
in all fairness to you, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I watched the meeting. But, I mean, this is my comment on that. I mean, certainly you have every right to do that. There's no question. What I did and what I provided to you are the responses I got from area municipalities. So you have that information.
Right. And I asked that question to you that night.
Yes, and they absolutely are. I mean, that range, and I've got fee agreements or just emails back from the municipalities. So I believe I've done that for you and given you what's out there, basically. And I do think you need to consider that, I mean, I do have experience with the issues that are facing Hudson. You're in kind of a transition period right now with department heads retiring and new people coming on. And I think it's helpful to have someone who's familiar with the issues and understands where they came from and so forth. And I think it would be, I mean, of course, my opinion, that you'd be spending a fair amount of money with a new attorney just to get the person up to speed to understand the issues.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So that's my take on it, and that's why I brought it up in the budget, and I am willing to work with I value working for the city, and I enjoy it. It's a major part of my practice. So that's not to keep someone from putting in, if you did an RFP, putting in a lower offer just to get a start. But what you now have in your hands is where you know they will want to be, where they are right now. So I think you have the information.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Full disclosure, she does not work for me.
So, should we put that on for the next finance and have her put an agreement together? And
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. And should that be done in closed session then, or
No,
open session?
I mean, under the open meeting law, I'm not an employee that you have jurisdiction over. I'm, a contractor, and, well, it'd be nice, but no, it needs to be in public.
Okay.
All right, I'll put that on the next finance and council. Then. That's okay, all right. But again, the budget amount, I think we need the 100 in there regardless of.
And what was it before?
It was 80.
Okay.
It had been up to 116 and then it was dropped to 100 and then it went down to 80. I think we were just looking for areas, but it's just been a lot more. Obviously, we've had a lot of activity this year, so.
Do you need direction, or do we need to have a conversation as a group now about whether we would take you on for phasing in the dollar amounts, or?
That's up to you. I mean, we can talk, I think, well, we probably should put it on the next agenda. I mean,
All right.
then it's
Okay.
noticed.
Okay.
All right, discussion and possible action on claims from October 22nd, 2018.
Claims this evening are $789,819.28.
I move we approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on regular operators licenses.
Tonight, you're asked to recommend approval of 6 operator licenses for the period of October 23rd, 2018 to June 30th, 2020 to Nicholas Halverson, Logan Thien, Catherine McBride, Taylor Stewell, Rebecca Knudsen, and Kimberly Taylor, contingent on payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city and successful completion of the background check.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible action on 2018 property tax collection agreement with St. Croix County.
This is the same agreement that you approved last year with St. Croix County. They collect the property taxes on our behalf at the county. I think it's a cost-effective way for us to collect our taxes.
Move we approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion and possible, and we're pulling number 7. Discussion and possible action on funding assistance for EMS RFP proposal.
We may have to hold that over to council. I don't see Josh here.
Okay, we can do that. That's on consent agenda, so we'll have to pull that from consent agenda. Anything for future agenda items? Anybody? Is there a motion?
Move to adjourn?
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. We stand adjourned. And once again, thank you all for the work that you did on the budget. I appreciate that. It's looking pretty good.